That's right. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, coming to you live and a lot late. Man, guys, I got to apologize to everybody. I don't know what went on, but my computer just would not give my camera any work at all. So it took a little bit. Let me say happy Veterans Day to everybody. Give me a few. I'm still kind of getting things set up because I got screwed up. I do apologize to each and every one of you out there. You know, I got to know I love you, and I got to say happy Veterans Day to you. And if you've seen my front picture there, you were probably wondering who that was. That is actually Justin. Justin, and I didn't get permission to use his last name yet. He's been on my show before. He's a Marine. He's stationed in England right now. And he had sent me that picture before, and I thought, you know what? That'd be a great freaking picture to put up. So that's what I did. And I kind of like it. Played with it a little bit, so it fits what we need, and hopefully it works good for you guys. Trying to view this on. There we go. I'm just trying to make sure that this is working and playing, and you guys are seeing me and hearing me and all that. Okay. Okay, so there we go. So it looks like I'm back, and things are working good. So that's a great thing now. So this is my Veterans Day special, and I had tried to record a really good Veterans Day special, and I wanted to get it put out there, and I did an interview with Devin Morosky. And Devin is an reserve active duty Air Force airman stationed at Scott Air Force Base. Devin grew up in St. Louis, big blues fan. We had a really great discussion, and when I tried to pull the audio out, you know what? I got one of these numbers. That's right. That's what I got. And I felt like that all night last night trying to make this work. And then today, it came right back. Well, that's what happened. None of that music for me. So I got to say this to technology. And I got to say, we need to welcome Devin in. Now, this is an interactive show. So you can get in and on the chat. It's there. I should be able to see your chats from everything. If I don't see your chat, send me a message via Messenger or on Twitter. I would love to talk with you. I'll put you on. I got my buddy Hef. If he wants to come on, if he's sober enough, he can come on. Oh, somebody totaled their car. I'm sorry, man. Oh, Roland. Oh, well. Sorry, buddy. Let me see. I'm trying to get... So I've got a couple different ways. And you know what? I think it's time... who is that? That looks like... Oh, Anthony's on. Hey, Anthony. How you doing, man? Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. So I got to do a couple things here real quick so I can see something. Not as good as I thought. One more. Okay, there we go. Now I can see. So you know what? I think it's time that we bring Devin in. Devin, are you ready to come in? Devin.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. How you doing? Happy Veterans Day.
Oh, man, I'm not hearing you very well. Can you try that again?
Yeah. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, we're not hearing you, Devin. Can you check your mic? For some reason, you went down.
Let's see.
I know. Hey, see? This technology is kicking my ass today.
Okay, I tried muting and muting. Hear me?
Yeah, well, I'm not. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Hold on a second, guys. I don't know if it's me not hearing him or if it's my mic. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Devin, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
There we go. Now I can hear you. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, it was probably me the whole time not hearing you. Oh, I'm sorry, man. You know what? But fuck it. It's Veterans Day, and it's a day that, you know, you and me get to say, let's just have a good time. Let's drink a beer. Let's have a drink. Let's think about, you know, all the guys that are stationed overseas are in the sandbox and have got to deal with that. And you know, it's kind of it's a pain in the ass being out there, man. So first things first, I want to welcome Devin. And Devin, welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report.
Thanks for having me. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, happy Veterans Day to you too, buddy. So, Devin, I mentioned that you're active reserves. Tell us where you stay. Tell us a little bit about your service, where you're stationed at, and that. And I know we talked, and I know this is going to sound funny to you. We talked about a lot of this yesterday, but I didn't get it out, so we're going to re-talk about it. You cool with that, buddy?
Yeah. Do you want me to go over where I've just been now, or where I've been all around, basically?
Yeah, been all around. Go over all of it, Buzz.
Okay, yeah, where I started at Little Rock, and then we moved over to RAF Lake and Heath. Then we shortly after there, I went to Davis Monthan, and while I was at Davis Monthan, I deployed over to Kuwait, which ironically had a roller hockey rink right there behind the movie theater. And unfortunately, I didn't know that going out. I would have liked to have taken my hockey equipment out there with there, but shortly after Davis Monthan, came back here to Scatter Force Base to the reserves.
Well, so you're a tech sergeant, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, see, I got it right this time. Tell us a little bit about what you do in the Air Force, what your job is.
That is aircrew flight equipment, and that's basically where we handle any kind of life-saving equipment, like life rafts, any kind of parachutes or harnesses for the aircrew, as well as parachutes, pilots, helmets, and masks, just general kind of aircrew equipment.
Yeah, so I kind of, well, in the Navy, in the surface fleet, we kind of have something similar to that. We call them damage controlmen. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but what the damage controlmen do on a ship is they take care of what we call our damage control equipment. They take care of the the gas mask. They take care of what we used to call OBAs. I guess now they're CBA or SCUBAs. They're like the regular firefighters use. They take care of the damage control lockers and all that stuff. And usually, like if we ever need meals ready to eat, we don't have them because they all went and ate them already. Yeah. That was kind of an interesting day. Hey, we're going to have meals ready to eat. No, we're not. They're all gone. Why are they all gone? We don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's the right thing for that one. So I'm playing. I love this new soundboard, man. I know you got to hear some of it yesterday. We were having fun with it, though, weren't we?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. So you know what? First thing I got to do. So I know how long you been in the service.
9 years, going to be going on 10 early next year.
How long again?
9 years, going to be going on 10 years early next year.
10 years. So now I know for me, and I put some posts out on Twitter and that today. There's a picture of me going around that my wife had of me from 1992. Yeah. And in 91, 91, 92, that time frame, for me, hockey was what kept me going. It really was, because I got to my ship, my second ship, the USS Mobile Bay, and I think I was wearing that hat yesterday. I'm wearing my retired hat today. I might pull my Mobile Bay hat out on a little bit. When I got to that ship Christmas Eve, 2000 or 1990. Man, God, see, that's technology's got me all buggled. So, Christmas Eve of 2090, and that can be kind of difficult to manage. When you think about it, to be there at that time period. But I needed something because I didn't have anything. I didn't know. I just got into the ship. We just got. I basically spent my birthday underway. My birthday is December 30th. Christmas, I was by myself Christmas Day. I didn't know anybody on the ship, so it's kind of, I'm in that mode where I'm not connecting to anybody. Right. Okay. And then one of the guys, I go down into what we call Central Control Station, our engineering control. Right. And this guy has got our axes. We have like a fire axe and a fire hammer. He's got them wrapped like hockey tape. Yeah, and I looked at him and said, "Oh man, who's the hockey guy?" And he told, the damage control. And we started talking, and then he goes, "Oh man, I got a whole bunch of stuff about Brett Hull. Are you a Brett Hull fan?" Man, I jumped on it.
Yeah,
I jumped on it, and because of that, this is I was reading everything. This is what got me through a very dark period for me. Hey, John Hefner, good to see you here, man. I'm glad you could finally make it. So this is kind of a tough period for me that we're going through, that I'm going through. And, it was kind of nice to have this sense of something to grab onto or gravitate. Is that kind of the same way for you? I mean, I don't know if you've been in the sandbox or not, but have you used hockey as an escape?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, basically we'd watch videos over there with the internet when the internet decided to work over there. And unfortunately, like I said, there was a hockey rink that I could have brought roller skates and the hockey equipment over there, but I didn't realize it. But yeah, I mean, just watching videos over there, like you said, trying to stay busy as much as you can, and talking to family and whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty difficult when you're in the sandbox and it's just you and the other guys, and you're just basically doing your job, go home and you sleep pretty much, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what that's like. And so for me, one of the reasons that I gravitate to hockey now that I'm older and I understand it, if you look at a lot of the other sports, there's a lot of individualism in them. Mm-hmm. In hockey, it doesn't seem to have that individualism. I mean, you have your guys that might shine, but they're not shining that far, because if you have one superstar on the team doesn't go anywhere. Nope. And in the military, it's kind of the same way. So that's kind of why I gravitate towards hockey the way I do. Do you get that same sense, or do you see that same sense from the game that I do?
I totally agree with you, because it's definitely a team game. Because even look at Connor McDavid, as great as he is, and he's got Draisaitl too, but minus those two guys, that team, those two individuals can't make that team, championship caliber yet, because they need more support help, which is basically, as you said, is what military life is like. It's not just you, it's, your whole unit basically helping out, and everybody has their own little jobs and helps out here and there.
Oh yeah. And it's definitely a different thing. And one of the things that I've noticed, especially with, like, you talk about McDavid not doing it all. Look at Gretzky. I mean, when Gretzky, he helped get a team to the finals, but when he went to LA, he didn't go alone. I think he took McSorley with him. He took 2 or 3 players with him. He knew that he couldn't do it without people. And that's important to me. Those are the things that make me jump to the game and to love the game. So what I had hoped to do, and we talked about this a little bit, was I was going to recap the season. Well, since I got you here, do you mind going over helping me do that recap before we get into some of the other things we talked about yesterday?
Yeah, like we were talking about yesterday, it was disappointing because the Blues were on fire until they stopped with the COVID crisis. And like we were saying yesterday, I think if they hadn't had that long pause, I think the Blues, like I said, are a team that once they get that engine going like a diesel engine, they can stroll right through, and they would have had probably farther in the playoffs than they did. So I was a little disappointed, but with their victory last year, it lightened the blow that it usually would have had if the Blues had a usual 1 or 2 round exit.
Yeah. So I kind of was thinking about this a little bit, and I was looking at the way that they came out in the round robin, and I look at that game against Colorado. Yep. And in that game against Colorado, I thought about this a lot. I really have. When I talked about it yesterday, after I was with you, I kind of did some other filming and that, and I thought about this. And that 1/10 of a second goal broke their backs.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really surprised that actually, John, YouTube is back up. I have checked that, and I've checked on, so you can watch on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook on my the BlueNote Fan Report page. Though that original one dropped down, so I'm probably missing people, but nothing I can do about it right now. Or you can watch it on Twitter. So any of those places, bud. So what I was saying was, I think that broke their backs. I really did, because when they come in against Vegas, and it just seemed like against Vegas, everybody wanted to score. and in Bennington, and so I'm going to do a little bit of this right now. And I'm going to tell everybody you need to go to NHL.com and check out Over the Boards. Over the Boards is their mailbag. And for the second week in a row, I got my question on a mailbag. I feel pretty happy. And my question was about, oh man, I'm going to forget his name now. The guy from Florida.
Mike Hoffman?
Hoffman. With the way free agency is right now, if the Blues could get Mike Hoffman for a very cheap price for a short deal, for a 1-year deal, would it be worth doing, or is he going to be a cancer in the locker room? And I forget the name of the person that answered it because the normal guy's on a break. But she had said that bringing Hoffman in, and his agent says, yeah, we'll look at a short-term deal and we'll look at less money because we know what's going on. And that might be what they need, some energy to the lineup. We'll talk about free agency and that here in a little bit. But let's get back to the season. So then you have the Vegas game where, everybody is just, firing, and the Blues had it, and then they ended up, losing it. I think they lost that game 7-4 or 6-4 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a high-scoring game, yeah.
Yeah, 7-5. It was a pretty high-scoring game. And that was actually the first time that Vegas ever beat us in regulation.
Yeah.
Right? In 3 years.
Overtime, yeah.
Yeah, because the other games had all been overtime. They had never beat us in regulation before. So this is the first one. And then you have the Dallas game that basically is the same thing as the the Colorado game. It's within 1 goal, or it gets tied up going, late, and they just get a lucky bounce that goes in. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, that they're the third place team and we're the second place team.
Right.
So it just felt like our fourth place team, they're the third place team, but it just felt like maybe something got lost, that there wasn't there. And then you kind of hear after the series with Vancouver that there was not much of a buy-in into this playoff, right? And I heard that from, and I'll dime them out here. I heard that from Jim Thomas. I heard that from Tom Timmerman. I heard that from Lou Korick, Mike Zeisberger from NHL.com kind of alluded to it. He didn't directly say it, but he alluded to it. They did lose Tarasenko in that to a shoulder injury again, and they lost Steen to a very undisclosed injury. He may need surgery. We'll get into that a little bit later. But those things combined with this thought process, and then you had said something really interesting to me yesterday, and I'm going to let you, I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to let you talk what you thought might have affected the Blues in that playoff.
Yeah, it was like you said, it seemed like they were a little off, and there were a lot of teams that maybe have more veteran players with families that wouldn't be totally into the bubble as it went further along. And then we made the point that the Blues never really fared that well against Vancouver in the playoffs for whatever reason. That it was just a bad matchup, apparently, because Vancouver had their number.
We've never beat them. And
Vancouver, from what it's heard, is that they had the book. They had the video on Jordan Binnington where to shoot on him. So hopefully in the offseason he can figure out through his goalie coaches what he needs to work on to fix those holes that Vancouver just shot right through, basically. Yeah,
one of the things that you brought up yesterday was that a lot of players had, like 5 or 6 players had gotten COVID. 20% of the Blues had gotten COVID, and that maybe that was affecting them. But their recovery wasn't what we thought or expected it to be, and that's a possibility, right? So, and
then when you look at Tarasenko, like whoever did his past shoulder surgery, obviously there was something wrong because it didn't get fixed because he had 4 to 6 to 8 months from his original surgery this time last year. So something didn't go right with his surgery last year.
Actually, that's not what I heard.
Okay.
There is some speculation that either while he was working out or after a game that he either slipped and fell or that he hit something that he opened up a bunch of scar tissue.
Not an Eric Johnson golf cart issue, right?
No, not an Eric Johnson golf cart issue.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you pay attention to me. Now, guys, I got to hand it to this. So we were talking yesterday, and now this is yesterday was the first time me and Devin have actually talked, right? Mm-hmm. Correct, Devin?
That is correct.
Devin is telling me, oh, you were talking about this on the Blue Note podcast. You talked about this in your Aloha commentary. You said this in your interview. I mean, this guy is following me. Uh-oh. Somebody says they can't hear. Is anybody else out there saying they can't hear? I don't know. I'm not getting anything else back. So I got like 5 or 6 people watching. Well, one of them is me. So if you're out there and you can hear, let me know. Until then, I'll just kind of go and see what happens. Or I can try and pull this up on Facebook. Give me a second, guys. Let me see what I can do about making it up. Devin, just stand by a sec. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm trying to, but you impress me with your knowledge of me. and I really do say that in a nice, good way.
Yeah, you're easy to follow. Like I said, like I was telling you, just trying to fill the time. I have a pretty long drive to Scott Air Force Base, so I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, videos that I can just turn on the car speaker and just listen to it while I'm driving to and from work. So I got some time to fit all those in.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Now I'm going to ask you this while I'm trying to figure this out. What of the interviews that I've done, what are some of your favorite interviews? What are some of the interviews out there that you've liked or that you find very interesting?
I think the one you had with Jeremy Rutherford, right?
Say again?
Jeremy Rutherford, the athletic.
I haven't had Jerry Rutherford yet.
I thought you did. Oh,
no, I have not had Rutherford yet. I've had Tom Timmerman.
Oh, it's Tom Timmerman, yeah.
I've had Tom Timmerman. I've had...
I knew it was one of those Blues Riders.
Yeah, I had him. I've had Jim Thomas. Actually, now here's the thing. Everybody knows who Jim Thomas is. Well, I just listened to it on a couple of things, and it sounds like I guess it's your problem, Tanner. I'm sorry about that because otherwise it's coming out. Tom Timmerman's been with the Blues for like 15 years, right? Been writing for. Nobody watched that interview. Nobody knew who he was. The Mike Zeisberger one. Mike was a real good talk, and hardly anybody watched that. My favorite right now, and I'm not picking you're not picking favorites. I'm just for as a fan of the game and what how easy it was to talk to that person was definitely Garth Butcher. That interview and what he talked about Brett Hull. God, I'm dying to get Brett Hull on, and I'm working on that. Okay, so I'm going to get back to where we were. So we ended up getting knocked out in 6 games, and we got blown out. And Mike Dante, who unfortunately not here, and I think you probably might know who he is because I've had him on the show a couple of times and that. Good friend of mine. Game day, he blows my phone up. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Now, I'm not complaining, Mike. I love it, buddy. I absolutely love that you do that. But I told him that Game 6 was going to be a blowout. And unfortunately, it was a blowout for the wrong side. Right. But I seen it. I felt it. I just had that feeling that something wasn't right. Now, Bennington goes 0-5 in the playoffs in the bubble. That concerns me. And then something interesting comes out before free agency during the playoffs still, basically, or right after the playoffs. Right after Tampa Bay wins, St. Louis goes and trades Jake Allen to Montreal. Montreal is collecting Blues players.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, I mean, because they got Allen, they got Edmondson. They're kind of. If you're a Blues player, Montreal's going, hey, come over here.
And supposedly from some hockey rumor sites I've seen is that they were interested in offer sheeting Vince Dunn. I think this was before they got Edmondson, but supposedly they were interested in Vince Dunn as well.
Oh, they're still interested in Vince Dunn.
Yeah.
They are absolutely still interested in Vince Dunn. Even with Edmondson there, they're still interested in Dunn. I'm really hoping that the Blues aren't giving up on Vince Dunn. The fact that they haven't signed him doesn't concern me because there's nothing Dunn can do other than sign the contract.
Right,
you know, he can. Well, let me rephrase that. He can negotiate a longer term deal, but if he doesn't play, if he holds out, he doesn't gain a year of. It doesn't get him a year closer to free agency. It actually extends him a year.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's one of the things that the NHL did come up with. If you were going to hold out, you weren't going to screw a team over and them lose you a year early because you didn't want to play.
And that's almost what happened to Toronto with William Nylander.
Yeah. I think the Nylander deal was why they changed that rule to where, now if you're hanging out that you've got to do that. I got 7 people watching, man. That's like the most I've ever had. Come on, get it up. Pass it out. Send it out to your friends. There's 8. Keep going, guys. I think 2 of them are me, but I won't count. So, and just so everybody knows, this is Devin Morosky. Devin lives outside of St. Louis in South County. Devin, born and raised, big Blues fan, is an active duty Air Force member. And, this is my Veterans Day show, so he's coming on to talk Blues hockey with me. If you are a veteran out there and you want to come on the show and talk hockey with us, just let me know either in the chat and I will send you an invite and we'll bring you in. Okay. Knew that was coming. Let me set that up. I'm still working on this camera. I can't make that 30-minute thing go away, but what the hell? We're having a good time, right, Devin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we get into this free agency, the draft. Let's get to the draft, right? And as we get into that, I'm going to pull some stuff up because I want to make sure I get this right. I had talked about it some yesterday, but I didn't completely talk about it. I think I got to come over here. I want to go over all 7 draft picks, actually. Okay. And Gabriel Foley from Game Time, who I have had some dealings with, but not direct, more on the side, had basically broke down all the players that the Blues got and what he thought of them and kind of looked at it. And it was pretty good. I got him at, I know the Blue Notes podcast went over this same thing. Sorry guys, just kind of popped into my head to use this. So please bear with me for a second. There we go. So we're going to go over the draft. So at number 1, so first of all, the draft was very interesting to me. I don't know if you watched it or not. I watched the first round, almost all of it.
Me too.
And there was one thing that really, really surprised me because I thought there was going to be a lot of trades, but there were none.
Yep.
Right? There were none. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking for. So this is recapping the Blues draft on St. Louis Game Time. I want to make sure I give them credit by Gabriel Foley. And the first round pick, we go to 26. And the Blues reach a little bit, and they take Jake Neighbors with the 22nd pick. He had played 64 games, had 23 goals, 47 assists, and 70 points for the Oil Kings of the WHL. Now, I say that because one of my jobs in the Navy was an Oil King. So I kind of like the name of the team. It was kind of cool to me. They did reach a little bit. This guy probably would have been available in the later or mid to early second round. I'm kind of wondering, maybe it wasn't there. And this is something that the virtual draft took away from us. Was there a trade there or not? And this was something they even mentioned about during the draft. We can't walk like we did before and hear what's going on and then tell you guys about it. So the fact that that didn't happen kind of had a lot to do with it. So we don't know. So if there was a trade available and it just wasn't value, okay, if there wasn't a trade value, but why not at least breach some of that or let us know that you were looking at that? Because I think Neighbors, you could have probably dropped down. Because if you're going to drop from the first to the second round, you can pick up a second and a third round pick. Mm-hmm. Pretty easy. I mean, that's an almost given in my book. You know, if you're dropping from first round to second round, and you're giving somebody a first round talent. That's what I think. But they take Neighbors. Neighbors has signed his entry level contract. Yet he is currently not with the Oil Kings. Their season hasn't started, but a lower level team season has started, so he's been loaned to them. I haven't really followed it yet to see what he's doing. I'm going to start doing that, though. What do you think about Neighbors?
Well, I think what he reminds me of is like when the Blues and some other teams do this too. If they know a specific player is on their list and they maybe have some kind of knowledge where maybe a team under them will select that player, they'll still make that selection, like you said, without making the trade if they know that like maybe a certain team before they can get to that position will take. I think they did it in 2005 with TJ Oshie because TJ Oshie wasn't slated to go to like the second or third round.
Yeah.
So I'm
that was a steal.
Yeah. Now we look at it as a steal, and that's kind of where I think Jake Neighbors is at. Is I think that's where the Blues usually go is if their guys on the list and they know another team basically might end up picking them, they try to take that guy right away before some other team can snap him up.
Yeah. So the one thing that I kind of felt about this draft was Bill Armstrong was the architect of the Blues, right? He was a draft guru, and he's responsible for Schwartz and Jaden Schwartz. I know you don't watch this, but for anybody out there who does watch this, if you have not heard, yesterday, Jaden Schwartz's father had a heart attack and passed away. And now for me, that's very personal because today, Veterans Day, my dad, a Vietnam era Marine, underwent the knife to have a heart valve replaced. I had put up a post or two on Twitter, and I got a lot of response. And I got to say thank you to everyone that did the stick taps for David. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to make sure that he, I'm going to take some screenshots of that so I can send it to him. He is out of surgery. My dove, for some reason, I have these doves that live around me that every time I come on will sit out here and make noise. Almost every live, if you watch my lives, you've heard these damn doves.
They like to chime in.
Yeah, I actually call this one Yachty and the other one Yana. So, or pardon me, Vladdy and Yana. Yachty. Now I got baseball in the brain. Get it off. So back to what I was saying. With Bill Armstrong gone, this draft to me, and the word that I've used with somebody else, was safe. It was just safe, right? We get into the third round, and this was probably their steal. They took Dylan Pedersen from the United States Development Program. He had played 45 games, 8 goals, 17 assists for 25 points. For a center, that's not great, but he's a physical presence. And in 2 or 3 years, if he comes up, this could really help the Blues with that. He could be a Robert Thomas type guy. Agree?
Oh, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he pretty tall, like 6'5"?
Yeah, he is. He's 6'4".
Yeah, I think that's what they really wanted to get, like a tall centerman, because most of them are like mid-size right about now.
Yeah. And then the third round, 88th, 2 picks later, they take Leo Loof from Germany, from the Super Elite. He had 43 games for 2 goals, 13 assists for 15 points. Big left defenseman. I think I'm trying to get this right here. He's 6'1", got some weight to him. He's going to get bigger. And this could be a good third round type pick for him. Mm-hmm. And then we come down to the fourth round, and this is the surprising pick. Tanner Dixon. Tanner Dixon, a lot of people didn't think Tanner Dixon was even going to get drafted.
Ooh.
Right? He wasn't even on people's top 150 boards. He gets taken at 118th. He has 64 games played, 9 goals, 31 assists for 40 points. Now, this is the center. I don't mind that for a center, but I actually want my center to know how to shoot the damn puck.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a little worried about this. I think Tanner's more of a playmaker, and that might put him more as might take longer for him to come up to the Blues if he ever does make it.
Yeah.
All right. Now we get into the guys that are probably these are the guys that I think you're going to see before anybody else. 5th round, they take Matthew Kessel. No relationship to Kessel from Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
He is a right defenseman. 7 goals, 4 assists for the NCAA. I forget who he's playing for. I know he's going to stay UMass. For UMass. And then I'm going to skip our 6th round pick because then they do something really weird in the 7th round and they take Noah Beck, who is a carbon copy of Matt Kessel. I mean, they're carbon copies. So I think they're kind of hedging their bets here. One of them's going to work, right? Maybe?
Right. When you get those later rounds, it's either hit or miss. Like you hit you hit it right at the bullseye, or you're hitting off the dartboard with some of them.
Yeah. The later rounds, the guys from 4 to 7 to me are your minor league players.
Right, the fill-ins, yeah, and then hopefully.
Yeah, however, you have Brett Hulse out there, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then in the 6th round, they take their goalie Will Cranley from the OHL. 18 wins in 21 games, which is nice. However, he only has an 89.4 save percentage. Not happy with that.
Yeah.
But again, he's a big goalie. He's with the Ottawa 67s. He was the backup, so that's kind of the thing. But here's the other thing: the guy that started for the Ottawa 67s didn't even get drafted.
Ooh.
So that's telling you that the Blues might have saw something. We'll see here. The guy's 6'4" at 18. He could easily be 6'6" to 6'7" by the time he's 21. He could be a Ben Bishop's type player. So that was our draft. And, there was a poll on here about how they did, and most people said it was a C. I wish they would have done things differently. What do you think about the draft?
Like you said, it was a safe draft. And, like I said, we never know how this will pan out until a year or so later, or even when they finally have the rookie camps. Who knows when they'll even if they even have one this year, because usually that would be right after the draft. And now who knows how they're going to even do that nowadays, especially if some of these players are already playing in like the Canadian Hockey League, or if they're playing overseas. I know a lot of teams have sent prospect overseas, like we sent Kostin overseas, as well as Torporchenko.
Yeah, they're both playing in the KHL right now.
Right.
They're on loan to the KHL. Kostin, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people think that it's Kyrou, but for me, it's Kostin. This is Kostin's shit or get off the pot year.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying about Kyrou. Like, if he doesn't step it up, they might end up, maybe trading him or something like that. Like a Robbie Fabry, basically, if he doesn't fit in, they might try to find some other team that would work for him.
Yeah, well, okay, so I understand that Kyrou was drafted a year before Kostin, but I think Kyrou was a 2nd or a 3rd round pick, correct?
That I believe you're correct on that one, yes.
Yeah, so Kostin was a 1st round pick that we traded a fan favorite, Ryan Reeves, for. Now, at the time of this trade, I had no issue with it. I really didn't. You're trading a 4th liner for the number 1 rated European skater. This is a guy that overall, without the injury, would have gone in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
The injury, and here, since he's been here, he's had, and I don't know how to say this, it feels like he's got this chip on the shoulder where he feels it's his right to play for the Blues, that he doesn't have to earn it. And that's where I'm having my issue with him. The stuff that I'm seeing, the negative stuff that, him flipping off the USA team, after they got beat for the Team Russia. I understand that to a point, but you know what? You're not just representing your country. You're representing the NHL team that picked you up. And when you do something like that, as a 1st round pick, I don't know how happy I am about that.
Yeah.
right? But to me, this is his year. He's got to do something when he comes back. When he comes to training camp, if he doesn't earn himself a spot, it's time to cut bait. It really is, in my opinion. I could be wrong with that. And you know what, guys? For all you guys that are watching, the three or four of you, there's a chat room. Chat. Tell us what you think about what we're saying. Let us know. This is. Hey, are you enjoying this, there, Devin?
Yeah. Because we talked a lot. You're talking about a lot of stuff that we really didn't talk about yesterday, as far as the draft and our prospects that we got in the pool.
Yeah, we can get a little more into it too now. Yesterday we kind of, we were regimented a little bit. Live, I'm not so regimented. I like to have a little bit of fun with it. So here we go into, now after the draft, we go into free agency. Now this is really interesting the way this plays out. First of all, the free agent pool is loaded with goalies.
Yep. And
with us trading Jake Allen to Montreal for basically a third round pick. That's all we got. That one of them, a third round pick. That's what we got. And it wasn't even Montreal's third round pick. It was Washington's third round pick.
Right. It was the one they traded for. Yeah.
Yeah. We swapped sevenths and basically we traded for a third round pick. Right. I wasn't happy with the Allen trade. I really wasn't. I have some speculation. I cannot prove this, but Allen asked for the trade.
I think so too, honestly.
There's just a few things going on, and I've asked some questions. I can't prove it, so I'm not going to sit there and say it absolutely happened, but I speculate that he asked for the trade. That's okay. That's fine. We'll just kind of go there with it and leave it. So, but now we have Husso, and Husso, nobody sold on him, right? He's been in the system for 4 or 5 years now. He hasn't really done anything. I think he's 23, and he's never come up. He's never been called up, and now this guy's going to be your backup.
Supposedly in the training camp they had before the bubble, supposedly the coaches were saying he did really good. Because he was their third goalie that they took to the bubble, so he was practicing with all the goalies, and supposedly him and Joel Hofer, if I said the name wrong, they said those two were looking pretty good.
Well, I hope so, because if not, it's gonna be a long season. Yep. And then and off on another off-beaten track, the NHL came out today and said that they are looking at possibly playing the regular season in a type of bubble format.
Right.
Now, what they're saying is that most teams want to play in their own arenas if they're allowed to. But the NHL, while the NHL wants to do that, I think they also want to kind of have some type of bubble format where they have 4 or 5 bubbles where teams kind of rotate around them. Right. That might work. But they do want fans back. They are trying to get fans back. And I'm kind of thinking, and this isn't political or anything. I'm kind of looking at the way things are set up. And I think that you look at 1919, 1920, and that pandemic ran just a little over 13 months. Mm-hmm. Right. I kind of have a feeling that this thing's going to do the same thing. Except we may have extended it a little bit because we social distance to stop it from spreading. And where that one, they didn't social distance and it spread a little quicker. So it got to the herd immunity of it. And at some point soon, we're going to get to that point to where our bodies are already working on that. And also Pfizer says that they have a vaccine that at this point is 90% effective. However, the sample size is very small. So, I mean, but it all plays. It all becomes hockey news now. So all these goalies go left, right. I mean, they're flying, man. The Hopi goes to Montreal, I think.
I thought it was Vancouver.
Or Vancouver. Hopi goes to Vancouver. Henrik goes to Washington.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That was... Right. And then the Blues go out and get this. I don't even know his name. They get a OHL, WHL goaltender as a backup for Husso. You know, if Husso is our backup, well, now you got somebody to replace Husso.
Or
That's all they got.
Or if you have 3 goalies that they have on the team again.
Yeah, you know that's well, you know, he's just a slot filler. I take it, but then Blues are quiet all the way up. There's not a peep out of the Blues. No, not even a. They're looking at this player. They're talking to this player. Nothing. And then about 11 p.m. Central Time, I think that's about right. You might know the time a little bit better than me. They come out and announce that they signed Krug to the exact same contract they signed Falk to.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a signing.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, everyone who, if you're a huge Blues fan, the first thing you're going to think of is Krug and Thomas, right? And you got to hand it to Robert Thomas. He goes on Twitter, and you talk about, because you brought this up yesterday. I'll let you talk about this.
Yeah, like I said, Robert Thomas is my favorite Kurt player, and the way he just comes out with the stepbrother meme that, you know, did we just become friends, and has a picture of the hit of Krug hitting him, and then even goes on an interview and saying that he signed that picture for like Matthew Tkachuk or Brady Tkachuk or something like that. Like, you gotta like his sense of humor that he's just willing to kind of squash that, even though every Blues fan would probably agree that was a charge.
Yeah, I agree. It was a charge and then more. You know, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Man, I just went. My brain went blank. So in the signing of Krug, now Petrangelo's hanging out there in the wings, and you know, this kind of surprises me a little bit that Petrangelo takes so long to sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I don't know how well you remember this, but this Petrangelo deal to me is he became a Brett Hull 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
So when Brett Hull went into free agency in 1997-98, one of the things that he wanted was a no trade clause, a full no trade clause, not a no movement, but a no trade, right? And they didn't offer it to him. They wouldn't give it to him. They gave it instead, and I think it was Pronger. It was either Pronger or McGinnis who signed a contract a year before and got it.
Mm-hmm.
And because he wouldn't get it, it was a matter of principle for him. Now, I did see an interview he did shortly after signing with Dallas where he said, I knew all year it wasn't going to happen. However, I think that was just Brett being Brett, because the more I remember, I'm searching through my memory banks. That like what he said didn't click with me. I do remember it being simply coming down to a no trade clause.
Okay.
Right. I could be wrong. Maybe when I'll have to ask out to one of my, more knowledgeable Blues friends out there that may remember this, who was there, because I was in Japan at the time. Was I in Japan? No, I might have. Actually, I think I had just moved to Japan the second time then. So I was kind of out of it a little bit. But that was so that's where my thought process goes on that. And then he ends up signing in Vegas. So now this something that I'm working on, and I'm going to throw this out there, and you can laugh your ass off if you want to. But this is something I'm working on, and it's going to sound horrible, but what the hell? Let's see if I can get it right. Screw it. I want to know who's going to wear the C. And if you can think of the Book of Love, add it that. Can you tell me who's going to wear the C? You know?
Yeah, I saw that your video like that on Facebook or
I put a little, I'm working on something. My singing's horrible, but what the hell? Maybe I can find an auto tuner that doesn't cost $2,000. So actually, that's a big question right now. Who's going to wear the C? And you had an interesting answer to that yesterday. I don't think it's going to be happening, but I'd like to hear that answer again. Who do you think is going to wear the C?
Like we were talking about, like Ryan O'Reilly seems like the number one. Like you would have to have him first. But as far as like the alternate captains with Tarasenko and Steen both being out, we talked about Pareko, Shin has been talked about, but you got to put David Perron on there because he's, third time coming to the Blues. He obviously wants to be here. Hopefully we actually protect him in this next expansion draft with Seattle because he obviously wants to be here. Hopefully we, like I said, the Blues protect him because he seems like he wants to be here and he's been playing pretty well the past few years that we've had him.
One of the things that I think COVID may do is I think COVID's going to change that expansion draft. I know they haven't talked about it yet, but to me, I kind of feel like that expansion draft can't stay the way it was going to stay. It just, because of the salary cap and some of the other things, I actually think that it's going to change, that they might allow you to protect one or two more players. They're not going to set Seattle up like they did Vegas, right? I just don't see that happening.
I heard with the flat cap that they might end up getting the same kind of deals that Vegas got with teams trying to unload some of the higher salary players that they're trying to get rid of.
Well, one of the things Vegas did, and actually I hope the NHL, I didn't like it, and I'm kind of hoping the NHL stops it this year, is they allowed Vegas to make trades on the promise of taking or not taking a player.
Right.
We'll give you this pick if you don't take this player.
Yeah.
Right. And that allowed Vegas to stock the cupboard, so to speak, and get their minor league team up. Yeah. I'm hoping the NHL doesn't do that again. I think that gave Vegas a real unfair advantage. And it also took away some of the mystery of the draft itself.
Yeah.
Right. Because of those deals. Oh, and then the other thing they did that I didn't like is you would hear that Vegas made a trade with Pittsburgh to take for the third round pick in this year's draft on the promise of not taking a player.
Right.
Not who, just that they wouldn't take a player. Or they would take this player, Everybody knew when they left for Marc-Andre Fleury unprotected, that's exactly who they were going for.
Yeah, that was like months before the expansion draft. They were talking about that.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh still made a trade to make sure they didn't take some other player.
That's Pittsburgh's fault in that one. I'm glad the Blues didn't do that, and hopefully they don't do that again.
Yeah, well, I would like to make them, if they need to make a trade to keep Perron, do it.
That's true.
As much as I hope that it doesn't happen, I do say keep Perron if you're going to go like that, because I don't see him taking Folk, But then again, see, now here's something that I've picked up on, and a few people have asserted to it, but I think Folk's going to have a breakout year this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of reports that I've seen that he'll be more he'll be put in more situations that he was in Carolina where he flourished. So he could. If hopefully we'll see a better Falk, because that's really not who we traded for last year for most of the year. That he was kind of stuck on like the third or fourth defensive pairing most of the time and never got power play time. So,
well, when he did get power play time, he didn't do well in the power play. That was one thing. The other thing with Falk is in the bubble, he really saw like felt like he got the system. Like he fell into the system. Him and Pietrangelo were really getting well off of each other. And he scored a couple of goals. I think he scored 1 or 2 goals in the bubble. So he was really starting to feel the bubble. So that kind of is good with me. Makes me feel like there could be something, good happening. This is going to be an interesting year. I'm looking forward to it. And we're kind of running short of time here. I didn't want to go much more than an hour. I don't want to keep you from your family. And I know you waited like an extra half hour, 40 minutes trying to figure out why my computer didn't want to work. So,
no worries.
Yeah, Devin, I really do want to say thank you. And the boys want to say something for you.
Let's go Blues! Go Blues! Let's go Blues!
Yeah, that's my boys. That's the Morton boys. Thank you, boys. I appreciate that. I got some other stuff I'm going to try and get on my system for you. Devin, I want to thank you so much for coming on the BlueNote Fan Report. We're all happy that you were able to join us. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys want to say a shout out to anybody or anything like that, feel free.
Oh yeah, like I said, thanks for having me. Like I said yesterday, if you ever want me to come on and do anything else, just let me know, and we'll definitely get that worked out. Just like you said, I'm looking forward to the next season. It's definitely going to be different. However, they're going to decide it because they got the Board of Governors meeting tomorrow. So
yep.
Hopefully we just need to know more about it because since basketball's already got their schedule set up, NHL can't fall behind, and they definitely can't just leave the season open like a lockout and not have a season at all, because that's not going to help the league, and it's not going to help the league get a new TV deal, and Seattle come along next year as well.
Yeah, that's also, man, I knew I forgot something. Forgot my banner. There we go. Oh, no, that's the wrong banner. Made my banner go away. Okay, never mind. So I didn't forget it. I'm just kind of looking at something here real quick. There we go. So, yeah, I'm really hoping that we get some sense of where we're going forward or behind. Either way, just give us some sense. Mm-hmm. And you are more than welcome anytime, man. If you just want to come on and bullshit and talk hockey with me, let me know. And we can obviously do that. I want to try and get more live shows, and I want to get more fans on. You know, this is, I say that my show is by a fan, for the fans, and about the fans. And having fans on the show is what makes the show great to me. As we get ready to go, the boys just called, and they said they want to say one more thing to you.
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
There you go. There's my Morton boys, just for you, buddy. Again, Devin, thank you so much. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, who just hit that hour mark. Man, if it wasn't for dumb luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha, mahalo to Devin. I know I'm bleeding blue with you, my friend, and I can't wait to see you again on the Blue Note Fan Report. Aloha!
Aloha, mahalo.